fucking release GTA 12 or whatever the fuck number we're on now unless you give us $50 in bitcoins or some bullshit. Like, nigga, how about real money in
Let's
an
say
offshore
hello.
account?
Let's say
Oh,
hello to
hello.
everybody.
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry. It started off very intense. I'm Ash.
And I'm Fatima.
And this is
Fatash.
Fatash.
Hey.
Yes, well, um,
Happy
I have,
Sunday to you too.
yeah, yeah, sorry for the aggressive rant about money and shit coming off of a um okay Saturday. Again, trying to be in the habit of my going out and just enjoying the day for what it is and not trying to deem it good or bad for the day is over, and not letting one little thing deter it from being a good day. But I'm still working on that. And when things don't go my way, I have a habit of harping on it. So I had two things yesterday that did not go the way I wanted.
What
My
happened?
the very minuscule first world problem thing. So the first thing was just my favorite cheesesteak spot is closed.
Cheesecake factories are
No, 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 no,
closing?
no, 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 no. No, where's my finger? I said cheese steak with a K.
Oh.
My
Oh,
favorite
okay.
cheese steak place. There's a spot here in Chicago. They've had a location in this particular neighborhood for like 35 years. I've been going there for over 7 ever since I moved to Chicago because they had the best Philly cheesesteak. Like, the owner is like a transplant from Philly. They only have 2 locations in the entire city. And this location was perfect for me because I frequent this neighborhood often. It's easy to get to. So, like, I would come by, like, maybe once a month and get my cheesesteak. So this was supposed to be that time. I'm like, cool, I'm gonna get it after I finish all my other errands in the neighborhood. I'm gonna get it on my way home. They closed that location because, in their words, they want to spend more time with their family, which admirable. But why this location? Like, I would have thought this was like their better location just based on like the neighborhood, the kind of foot traffic they get. And the other location, I wouldn't think gets that kind of foot traffic. And maybe that's it. Maybe they want the lesser foot traffic so that they can spend more time with their family. I don't know. Maybe more of them live in the other neighborhood. I don't know. But it was very upsetting for me. I had to call my aunt. I'm like standing outside the door, like, they closed the spot. What am I supposed to do? This is supposed to be my new neighborhood. Because I'm also looking at moving.
Okay.
And the spot I'm looking at moving into is like a 5-minute, maybe 8-minute walk from where that cheesesteak location
You
was. And it was
you
gonna be
weren't moving
perfect.
just for the cheesesteak, were you?
No, no. But it was a bonus. It was like, ooh, so this is a neighborhood I'm often in anyway. Easy walkability to the trains, buses that I normally take, stores that I shop. I can walk to Taco Bell, this cheesesteak spot. I think there's a Domino's and a Pizza Hut. Like, a lot of my like foodie, not I can't really call Pizza Hut and Domino's foodie, but like my fast food go-tos are like within walking distance of this new apartment building. Me trying to get into this apartment building is a whole nother ordeal in itself. I'm not gonna go into it right now. But
Okay.
the cheesesteak thing irritated me, and my aunt's very like, oh, it's okay, this is the perfect opportunity to try something new. I'm like, no, it is
Oh.
not the perfect opportunity to try something new because I wanted this particular thing, and if I don't get this particular thing, it is going to ruin my experience in trying something new because I'm going to be too primed to compare it to the thing I want unless it absolutely blows that other thing out of the water or is comparable. And that is not going to happen with my mind state currently. because I don't want to have to spend money on something that I'm trying out new. I want to guaranteed I'm going to like this thing situation right now.
You know that's not realistic, right?
I'm saying right now. I say right now as in that
But
moment.
there's always no guarantee.
I know, but in that particular moment, I am not in the mindset to want something or try something new. Which my aunt was like,
"Good, Mike. Say change is stressful. It's stressful.
Change can be a good thing for sure." And my aunt even said, like, yeah, I get where you're coming from, because like the other night, she had her heart set on like a burger at this particular restaurant, and the restaurant was taking forever to get her food out. Like, it was like an hour later, she still didn't have her burger.
Oh no.
An hour later, she still didn't have her burger, and the dude was just like, I'll just refund you for the burger. So like, I'm hungry now. I just want my burger. So she is mad. She hasn't had her burger. It's been over an hour. She's hungry. She's with her friend. Her friend's like, oh, let's just go next door for pizza. And she's like, I don't want pizza. I want my burger. And that's essentially what my mindset was, wanting my cheesesteak. I'm like, I wanted my cheesesteak. And now, you know, there's only two, like I said, of this particular brand, there was only two locations in the city. There's only one left. And even the one that's left is still a bop from where my aunt even lives. So even if I go to visit her, it's still going to be an ordeal to go get that particular cheesesteak. And even in the other place, so she like did like a quick research, be like, oh, well, there's this other place. The food looks good. Looks like they know what they're doing. Prices are good. But like, I'd have to take like 2 trains and a bus to get there, in a neighborhood that I don't really frequent like that. Again, convenience wise, where this spot was great, because I go to that neighborhood at least once a month with various shit that I'm doing in that neighborhood. So it was just a convenient, pleasant thing to also be able to get a little taste of the East Coast. So I did not get my cheesesteak, but my aunt was like, well, one day we can go check it out together. We'll make it like a family ordeal. We'll just go try it out. So I'm open to the idea of trying a new place for sure. It's just kind of mourning the fact that something that I enjoyed both in taste and convenience is no longer a thing. Like, I'm allowed to be a little upset about that shit. And especially for at least that first hour. You got your heart
I'm sure a lot of people are feeling the way that you are now, because like so many restaurants and bars that people absolutely loved, had made a staple in their lives, closed after the pandemic, or they held on for as long as they could, and then they ended up closing anyway.
And at least
because like restaurants, bars, clubs have very, very narrow profit margins.
For sure. And that's where I'm trying to, you know, pick out the good, because again, there's still one location left in the city, and it's still within relative distance of like my aunt. And when I visit my aunt, we could make a trek out there.
Is there any possibility that you could learn how to make something similar at home? It might not be the same.
Fucking aunt. God,
I know.
you, Jesus.
We are of the same mindset, and we read the same book.
Y'all really are. It is ridiculous. Well, I don't like to cook. That's the thing. I don't like to cook. I could figure out what type of meat to get in particular to make the meat, and like learn how to chop it up the way it needs to be so that the texture is right. I could do that. I could do a lot of things that I would rather other people do for me. This is one of those things.
Why don't you challenge yourself to do it once and see how it feels?
I don't like cooking. I cannot stress enough how much I really do not like to cook. What
don't you like about it?
The effort. The effort. I have let me see. I would say I have maybe 3 recipes under my belt, and I do not have them written down. It's just I just do the thing. Like, I just made soup made soup the other day because I had like a little bit of milk left over that I needed to get rid of. I still had a few vegetables in the fridge. I had some frozen dumplings I needed to cook, and I had a box of soup stock that technically expires like next month, and I've had it for like at least a year. I'm not using all of that chicken stock, but whatever. I've said, fuck it. Let's make some soup with this random shit in my fridge. And I did it. Can't tell you how much of what to put into what, but it tastes good. And I'm probably not gonna make soup again for like another 9 months. Because I don't like doing it. Even spaghetti. Like I can do spaghetti, and even then I'll make spaghetti maybe quarterly.
Have you tried cooking with someone else? Like, would your aunt be down to like cook with you and figure out
She
this
would love
cheesesteak
to
thing?
cook with me. My aunt loves doing shit like that. But again, I just don't like it. This is why I'm single.
Wait, what does cooking have to do with being single?
It's on me. It is definitely on me. Mentally, I'm like, I can't even like cook. Well, I can cook. It's just I don't want to cook. And it's like in a relationship there needs to be some give and take, and I don't know what much I have to give. And cooking is not one of them.
And so, like, you have other gifts.
I don't
and
think
you're
so.
great by yourself. You don't need to. You don't
I
need
know.
to. You don't need to earn it. Like if a guy likes you, you don't need to.
I know. Again, it's a mental thing on me. It's like, what can I bring to this person's life?
And actually, as much as I like to cook, my journey into cooking had nothing to do with impressing a man. As a matter of fact, I've never ever cooked for a man that I was linked to romantically. I cook for myself, and whoever
I know,
happens to be around is typically like.
But you like to cook.
That's the thing, but that I keep that a secret. I don't tell I don't tell the men that I'm dating that shit. As a matter of fact, it was like recently my mother was watching me cook and I'm just enjoying myself, and she goes, she was like, yeah, some man gonna figure out that you can cook. And I was like, don't say that, Mom. Don't say that. And he go drag your ass down the aisle. Just watch. Somebody's gonna figure.
It's like trying to keep your superpower and secret. It's like, I don't want nobody to know I got superpowers, because then they're gonna start asking shit of me.
I brought
I don't
over some lasagna to my friend. We were getting ready to watch something, and she offered some to her. She had somebody like renting a room in her house. She offered some to him, and he was like, where'd you get this? And I was like, I made it. He was like, really? Like, I was like, oh no.
No, but that's, again, it's something that you like to do. And
yeah, but I'm not a cook. I'm not a chef. My dad asked, like, how come you don't post like the stuff that you cook to Instagram? I was like, because I don't want nobody to know. Like, I'm not advertising. I'm right. And when I'm dating somebody, I'm not auditioning to be his maid and his cook. Like,
right. I know, and I'm totally on board with that, of like not leading with I can cook, you know. But
I can cook for me. Like, right, but you need to know, like, I will not starve.
Right, but now I have a little more perspective on your opinion of your cooking, because I thought it was like a hobby that you would like talk about. You're like, oh, I like to cook, I like to like experiment, like.
Okay. No, my foray into cooking is I like to eat, and
so that's how you would paint it when you're dating someone. They're like, oh, so what you like to do? I like to eat.
I like to eat, and also like at some point, like, ordering out became expensive, and then I also like to challenge myself. Like, I wonder if I could make something similar at home, and then I learned that I can do it, and then I figure out what else I can. When I learn that, I learn other stuff along the way, and then I just like keep going like that. It is never ever about hey everybody, look what I can do, because and also I'm very like, there's nobody else, like, I don't have kids, so there's nobody else for me to like care for besides myself.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm never thinking like, what can I do for some man who is not in my life? Like,
No, I totally get it. So it's more so again,
I
you
like to
like to
take
you like
good
to
care
eat,
of me.
you like to eat, and you like to
and
challenge yourself.
and I like to have what I want.
Hmm.
And I don't like
When
to
you want it.
complain.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I don't like
Yes.
to complain. I would
Yes.
rather get in the kitchen and rustle up the pots and pans than to nag somebody else into trying to get them to give me what I want. I am very much of the mindset of fuck it, then I'll do it myself. Like,
Okay, okay, Thanos. Bust out
you
the
know what? I I was kind
bust
of
out
feeling
that
them.
infinity. I'm gonna get you an infinity gauntlet oven mitt.
Yes.
So every time you cooking, just fuck it, I'll do it myself and just put on that
I
glove.
yes, because I am very much also like a kitchen tyrant. Like people
I'm about to look it up
that
right
have
now. And
been like, what do you think about blah blah blah? And it's just kind of like, well, I don't like steak, so I don't cook it. So
mm-hmm.
if that's what you like, you figure out how to cook it. Because
I respect it.
I'm not
I
gonna.
respect it. But again, for me, like I said, these are just like mental tallies I have for myself. I don't lead with, well, first of all, I don't be dating to even really say like I don't cook kind of
And I
thing.
am that kind of bitch who will go to extremes. Like if my favorite cheesecake place shuts down, I am looking up recipes online. Like, can I get a copycat? Because like that's how I ended up making chicken marsala like a week or so ago because we haven't been to Olive Garden in a really long time. And then I was like, I wonder if I can make that. Yes, I can. I found a
You're
copycat recipe and I just went and did it and everybody loved it.
you are literally we got McDonald's at home.
I am. I am.
I respect it. I respect it. Again, just mental things that I just kind of think to myself of like, and again, I'm not even putting myself on the market. So it's like, why even have these discussions with myself? Because it's 2 o'clock in the morning and I can't fall asleep. But it's like, what is something about me that would want someone to want me in their space like that?
Because they find you interesting and quirky, and you know all of this anime shit, and you know
Oh,
all of these random fucking facts.
you know who else knows that? Reddit and YouTube.
Well, you know who doesn't know that? I don't know that. I find that interesting. I find that interesting
But do
that
you
she knows
want me
that.
in your house? You want me in your bed?
Well, I don't date women, but I would invite you over to the house and I would cook you something. I would cook you
Oh,
something that I like, and then
listen,
if you want some too, you can have it.
that is the highest. Look at me shrinking. I'm like, oh my god, that is the highest level of like compliment I can get from you is I will cook for you because you don't cook for nobody except you and your family and those that you care about.
Yeah, yeah. I invited a friend over. Oh, that's another thing. I invited a friend over that I have known for a very long time. I've known this woman for like over a decade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Invited her over, made her some salmon tacos with some
Ooh.
uh peach salsa and had a little had some like little slaw and some like sauce to go with it. And she was like, Fatima, I didn't know you could cook. And I was like, shh.
That's how you like people is that you will cook for them without like even thinking about it. Like it's not a chore for you. You're like, I'm gonna cook for you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to subject you to my hot pockets and cheese sandwich diet. I'm gonna actually I'm gonna actually like cook for you. Like I had that I literally just had that realization myself of like when I have friends over or family over, I don't even question like I'm gonna cook. Like or I'm gonna order something. But more often than not, I will cook something. It's probably going to be salmon or spaghetti, but usually they like those or actually request it. Like my one friend usually request that I make spaghetti. My brother's a little picky, but he's nice, so he won't. He'll eat everything on his plate, even if he doesn't particularly care for it. And I'm like, you could have told me you don't like salmon. Like, it's like, it's not that it was bad, it's just he does not like that, and he's just a good boy. He's a very courteous boy. But yeah, I never think twice about cooking for friends and family because I like y'all.
Right.
I'm not doing it all the time. That's why you only get invited like once a quarter to my house, and you better be out of my house in about 4 days. but yeah, it's just, it's nice to keep stock of what you're proud of in yourself, even if you don't necessarily advertise it to the world. Being able to sit with yourself and be like, I'm really good at this thing, or at the very least, I like what I'm able to do in this arena. Whether other people agree with it or not, I think I'm good at this thing. So that's where that, like, I don't.
For me, like I said, it's about eating. Like, I'm satisfied.
Yeah.
And my cooking actually went to a different level when I was in graduate school because I was challenged, like, financially, and then it was just kind of like, okay, I got a Whole Foods down the street.
Yeah, it's when you're like challenged,
and then and it's like, and I have to eat, and I'm picky.
You gotta make it do.
So, I'm gonna like, I'm gonna work this out. So I got my mom to get like an Amazon Prime. Ooh, oh my god,
it comes out next month.
Oh.
Put that Infinity Gauntlet on and do it yourself.
Yes.
Oh man, it's perfect.
It is pretty perfect.
I'm gonna put it in the chat so you can.
But no, I was like, I was like, all right, well, this is the strategy. I'll get mom to get an Amazon Prime like account, and then I'll get on her account so that I can get 10% off of Whole Foods, and then I will just make my dinners for the week on whatever's on sale. Whatever is on sale. And to get out of the trap of like, because like I typically was like too tired to do the shopping one day, walk that shit like back to the apartment and up 4 flights of stairs and then cook. No, was not going to happen. So I would do shopping, but like on the day that I shopped, I would have pizza and beer for dinner that day because they were also selling pizza by the slice.
Listen,
and then
I do that now. When I go to the market, and I have an elevator in my building, I have a little city cart that I have. I don't even get my food off the shelf anymore. I will order online, pick up in store, because I usually get a discount when I do that. But I already know I'm not cooking shit, at the very least, not until dinner. So shout outs to the Burger King that's in that same parking lot, because I will pick me up a burger and eat that, because after walking back and then having to unpack all the food, I don't feel like
I just do not feel like cooking. I don't know what that is.
I think it's very common.
That's another thing that's nice about living here is that like all of the cooking stuff, like I only have to do the cooking. Dad does the dishes. Dad does the shopping, and he shops at 3 different grocery stores for us.
And that's the thing. That's how you have to divide it up. Like,
I only cook. I cook, and then that's it.
Yeah. And even then, it's like, you can clean as you go as much as you can.
I try to clean as I go because, like, I appreciate that he does the dishes after dinner. And so, like, I don't want to inundate him when I don't. And plus, I'm standing around him in the kitchen anyway. Like, when I'm cooking, I'm only cooking and listening to my podcast, typically Sisters Who Kill. And then, like, in between, like, I'm, like, cleaning as I go.
And that's a good way of dividing the workload in the house. I don't care if it's you and your roommates, parents, siblings, your partner. Having someone else do the shopping and then you do the cooking, or y'all both
Oh,
do the shopping and then there's a
yeah, when
pause and then
you're done with the
someone
shopping,
cooks.
I put up the groceries because, like,
Right,
I know that
exactly.
once you've done all of the shopping, like when you get home, you just want to like
Sit
drop
down.
that shit.
Yep, yep, yep. That's what, like when my mom used to go shopping when we were kids, and she'd come home, she'd be
Hmm.
like, "Go unload the, go unload the car."
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like, you really have to divide it. Someone does the shopping, someone does the unloading, someone does the cooking, someone does the cleaning. Even if it's like a back and forth just between the two people,
Right.
it helps a lot. That stress is gone. But when it's just you, bitch, it's just me. It is just
Yeah.
me.
But when
I
it's
need
just
it.
me, that's fine. What I've seen in other people's households, like when I see like one person doing everything, I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah, that is. Look, I'm tired for him.
Mm-mm.
No,
That's that's I can't let that happen to me.
I was getting back to one of the other things that I was almost harping on. I've been catching up on my reading, so I've made a slight dent in some of my books. I have more books coming in this week. Don't judge me.
Oh. I'm
Don't judge
not.
me.
I don't.
I'm yelling at myself. Don't judge me. I got them on sale, and they are a continuation of series that we are already invested in. And it just so happened I'm like, oh snap, there's two more books available, because I was like 2 books behind. Like, these 2 books came out months ago, whatever. One of the books, I had bought the second book because it was on sale, but the first book wasn't. And this was back in December. Here we are in damn near April, and I finally got the first book because I had a coupon. So I finally read, and I finished it. It was 2 volumes, and I was kind of pissed. I was kind of pissed because most of the books that I read are mature. Like, we're talking explicit is on the cover, like explicit content within. And I was a bit concerned because the second book in this particular series came in plastic wrap. That's how you know, oh, this shit gonna have some shit in it. And the first book did not have plastic on it. Still had the warning on it. Did not have the plastic. And this was in a Barnes and Noble. So this is like, you could just pull it off the shelf in the middle of the store. You gonna see peanuts or something. But I read it, and it's funny. There was one panel that was okay. So just to give you context, the series is called Stigmata Love Bites, and it focused on these 2 detectives, one of which, when he is at a crime scene, let alone it's like a murder, the what they call echoes of the person's spirit will possess him, and he can, for a brief moment, see what the victim saw and experience all of the wounds that they got in the assault. So like, the first case that opens up, and it's not even really a case because we don't really get to follow what all it was, but he's like on an examination table of like a rape victim. So he's
Oh.
got like bruising and all this kind of stuff all over his body, and like where a vagina would have been. And the coroner's like, wow, yeah, all of these wounds are matching up to the victim. This is crazy. Anyway, all that to say, he ends up at the crime scene of his partner's ex-wife. So the ex-wife's echo, quote unquote, is inside of him. So he's getting some of her last memories of his partner. So he's like, do I have feelings for my partner, or is this just the echo of his ex-wife messing with my own feelings and fucking with my dreams and stuff? And his partner's like, I'm so sorry I've put you in this situation to be possessed by the echo of my ex-wife. Apparently, the only way to stop such like possessions, or like the emotions or echoes taking over his mind while he's sleeping, is to be touched by someone. Like not necessarily sexual, but like he just needs human contact with someone else. But he don't have nobody. He don't have no family. He ain't got no girlfriend. He ain't got no boyfriend. He got nothing.
Can he
So
just pay for a massage? Like,
well, this is for when he's sleeping. Like when he's sleeping, that's when the echoes come out of the subconscious and into his
oh.
dreams and stuff. And it's like,
Can he put it into an animal? Can he just get a cat?
you know what? That was never brought up. But I don't know if you've ever had a cat, but I don't think a cat's gonna let you cuddle up on them all night.
Yeah, cats will let you cuddle.
Depends on the cat. But either way,
Or a dog definitely will.
he ain't have none of that. So his partner's like, I guess we gonna have to cuddle up at night until we solve this crime. Because that's the only
Okay,
way
they wanted to do that. All right.
I mean, for plot convenience, yes. But the partner was actually like, I honestly, by the time I finished these two books, I feel like the partner was probably somewhere on the neural spicy scale. What y'all call it? Neural atypical autistic. There it is. Yes.
Neurodivergent.
Yeah, neurodivergent, somewhere on the autistic scale. Either that or the author just took a class on queer studies in women, because it was like after a while it got like it sound like how folks be mad on the internet, like, oh my god, this is too woke, blah 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 blah. So he's the partner is sleeping with his possessed partner, but like nothing sexual. It's just literally like big spoon, little spoon kind of thing. I just throw my arm over you at night kind of sleeping situation. And that was keeping like the wife's dreams at bay kind of thing. And one day they were like not sleeping. They were like sitting on the couch after dinner, and the senior partner was saying, "Oh yeah, so when I was married to my wife, I wanted to be the perfect husband. I didn't want her to have all of the domestic responsibilities." I was like, this shit was clearly written by a woman. Like, man, some man talking to another man talking about, I wanted to be the perfect husband, making sure that I didn't burden her with all the domestic responsibilities. So I learned how to cook and I helped with the cleaning around the house, but we still got divorced. And it was never really clear why she divorced him. She said it was because she couldn't live up to the perfect image he wanted of her, but we never saw her like not being what he wanted in a wife. Like she was fine. It was very weird the way they tried to justify their divorce. And by the time she ended up getting murdered, they had been divorced for like 5 years anyway. It was stupid. And then like leading into like so when I'm reading these types of books and it's like a one shot, or not a one shot, like a two shot, there's only like 2 volumes or 3 volumes type things, usually the final chapter is like the climax, for lack of a better term. Like this is the sex of the entire series, and this shit was so boring. Oh my god, I have never been more bored in a sex scene in my life. Like, and then I will give it I was trying to give it credit, because with some of these books you have folks going through that whole like gay panic thing, like, oh my god, I can't like him, I like women type stuff. No, and this is where I think this dude's autism came into play, because like the whole book, he was like, he reminds me of like The Accountant. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, where he's like an assassin, but he's just very straight to the point type, don't really have much emotion. That was this senior detective. Like, he rarely smiled. He wasn't mean or anything, and he could recognize emotion and stuff, but he didn't really display it himself. And like, he goes to the head of the department. He's like, I need to remove myself from this department because I'm in love with my partner, and that is not conducive to a work environment. So if you could put me in another department, please. And the head dude is like, weren't you married to a woman? And he's like, yeah, but I never really gave much thought into if I was gay, or maybe I'm bi, or I could be pansexual. I'm not sure. I just know I'm in love with my partner. And I'm like, okay, so okay. Shout outs to recognizing that he might be bi and just never gave much thought to it. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people where it's like, I just never gave thought to anything else because I like this one person, but look at that. I like this nigga. So I'd like to explore that, but not in the same
But
department
wouldn't
as
you
him.
know, like how old were you when you figured out that you like boys? Like I was like
And
first grade. I had my first crush on somebody in the first grade. Like
for sure.
and
I'm the
also
same.
I would see handsome men on television.
Yes. And I would say we're fortunate in that we're like we knew where our sexuality lied and didn't really question it. But for other folks who are more fluid in that, we don't really live in a society that's conducive to exploring that thought. So it's like you probably didn't
I
have
thought we were headed that way until somebody got elected, and then
yeah,
like,
for sure. And I mean, there's still progress being made, but like going just based on like our peers, our generation, and looking back on how we were raised, there wasn't a whole lot of representation or even ways of just putting a terminology to what you're feeling, you know. So and this dude was like 35 or something, so I'm giving him the grace of like, you know, he's Japanese, so he's raised in society.
Yeah,
He's
they
they're even
are,
more strict.
yeah,
So he's raised in a society that says like you should love a woman, and he happened to find a woman that he did love and admire. It just so happens
and
that
does kind of play into like the housewife thing, because like being a housewife, being a Japanese housewife is like on a total different level than being a Western housewife. That shit is a career. Those women
and I
do,
think
like, compete, like, yeah.
And you bringing that up, I think that gives that even more credence to why she felt like she wasn't a good enough wife, because she was a lawyer. And she would, and like they showed like an early flashback of them as like high schoolers, and she was saying how people always came at her for being loud and opinionated, so she was going to take that personality of hers and use it for good by being a lawyer. And he was like, that's really admirable. I'm actually going to be a detective. So like on paper that sounds great, but it could be that she was feeling conflicted with the societal expectations of what it meant to be a wife, and with her husband taking on the lion's share of doing the laundry and doing cooking and maybe even being a better cook than her, she might have felt inadequate and decided, let me just release you of the burden that is me and get a divorce, because she gave him the divorce papers, but she still loved him. She just felt like she was not doing enough. And the book, being that it was written by like a 50-year-old, like I saw her name, or I saw her age later, the author was like a 50-plus-year-old Japanese woman, I can see how she like sprinkled in those details without going into detail, because it's just like, if you know, you already know why she felt like she wasn't a good enough wife, kind of thing. So just in us talking about this, I'm like, okay, I see where her head was when she was getting a divorce. Because then with the wife being killed, she got killed through mistaken identity, because she was working at a law firm that helped with other women going through a divorce, and her colleague who looked up to her and actually kind of looked like her was divorced from a man that hated her because she was more successful. Like, she was talking about how they were both in law school and they both took the bar exam, but he failed. She passed and she proposed to him. I'm like, girl, why don't you just take his dick too? Like,
wow, don't say that. I have a good friend who proposed to her.
No. Listen, I'm just saying, in the context of this story, the way he felt emasculated, like I could already see why he felt the way he did, just based on the fact that he was mad that she passed the bar and then you propose to him. I'm like, girl, you are emasculating him and you don't even realize it. It's a shame that those things are seen as emasculating, but to him, yeah, it was just stacking. And they were married for like 5 or so years, and she was so supportive. She's like, it's okay, babe, you can try for the bar another 2 times, and in that time I can support you, you can study. Like, she was doing the damn thing. She was, working as a lawyer, but then she would come home and she's cooking. She's like, oh, are you studying? I'll get the dinner ready, don't even worry about it. Like, she was being as supportive and loving as she could, and he just resented her.
Okay, so what is she supposed to do? Like,
exactly. Like,
what is she supposed to do? She loved him.
She loved him.
She
thought she was being.
She can't do anything about him failing.
Nope.
He
agreed to marry her.
It doesn't make sense to fail on purpose. She loved him. She wanted to marry him. She said so.
Yeah, she proposed to him, and he accepted.
Said yes. And he said yes.
Mm-hmm. Projecting. That's all it was.
What's she supposed to do?
She was, man, and she stayed in that marriage way too long, because then he started beating on her. So at some point when he started beating on her, she finally was like, nah, we're done. But then he reached back out to her sometime later. Like, he had another girlfriend, according to her. But then he reached back out to her after breaking up with the girlfriend, was like, oh, I want to get back together. And the ex-wife of the senior cop was like, girl, you do not need to be meeting up with this man alone. I'll go instead. I'm like, bitch, you shouldn't be going alone either. What are we doing?
No one should meet up with him.
I'm like, girl, what are we talking about?
He needs to go study anyway. Go past the bar. Like,
well,
that's what this is all about anyway.
This was prior to like some changes, but at the time you could only test for the bar twice, and he failed twice. So there was no more change. Apparently this has since changed, but at that time apparently you failed twice. That's it.
All right, then he also, like, he don't need to be out here dating women. He needs to figure out what he's going to do for his career. He has a law degree. There's like other things you can do with that. Right. But he needs to get on it and switch up his career and not be bitter towards women, because it's not women's fault that you.
It wasn't even just women. It was his wife in particular, and then apparently lawyers.
It's not her fault that he failed.
Exactly.
She was supportive.
It's not. And again, her friend is like, I will go instead.
No.
And I'll leave my lawyer badge at home so he doesn't know I'm a lawyer. I'm like, bitch, why didn't we get like a man to show up? Because apparently, for all intents and purposes, she was still on good terms with her ex, who's a fucking cop. You could have reached out to him to be like, hey, I have a friend who has a really abusive ex. Can you maybe go with her at this meetup that he's trying to do?
Why do they even need to meet up? Why does anybody need to meet up with this man?
I honestly don't even.
What's wrong with being like, nah, or just stand him up?
Because she loves him. She still loves him. Either way, yeah, I was on team don't meet up with that nigga. But her friend goes instead, and he ends up stabbing the friend because from behind she looked just like his ex-wife. So he wasn't even.
He can't do nothing right. He can't pass the bar. He can't even murder the bitch you want to murder right. Like you end up murdering somebody else completely.
And then this man is insane, right? So they finally figured out that it was the friend who was the intended target. So they got her in and was like, we know that you're not the murderer, but we have good suspicion that you are somehow involved. Are you in danger? Somebody's stalking you? What's going on? And she like somehow let slip. She's like, I'm not trying to protect that man. They're like, oh, that man. Okay, let's talk more about that. She's like, all right, well, let me first go get something from my apartment. So the cops go with her to her apartment to go get whatever she needs to get. And when they open the door, her ex-husband is in her apartment cooking dinner. Talk about, hey, what took you so long? I'm like, yo.
Not hey.
Man, so they arrest
Not
him.
hey, after you didn't like attempted to murder me and
right,
messed
now
around
you
and murdered
in my house. Now you in my house.
Not hey.
So they arrest him.
Breaking and entering.
And then he had the audacity to then be like, oh, she tricked me. I was actually trying to kill my wife. Can I like plead against that? Because she led me on. It's like, that bitch didn't lead you on. They just had the same haircut and you couldn't see in the dark, nigga. Nobody's trying to lead you to kill them. What the fuck? Anyway. I say all that to say, in these 2 volumes, the murder mystery was more interesting than the sex. And usually they should be on par. They should, like, the plot should be just as interesting as the will they, won't they, clearly they gonna end up together, and is the sex gonna be entertaining as well. And no, I'm sitting here like, can we go back to him being possessed by the ghosts of people that got stabbed and trying to figure out the murder? Because this sex is whack. Okay? Like, consent is sexy. Very much so. But, like, the delivery was so fucking stale. This dude, literally, one of the panels is like, all right, I'm gonna go to the pharmacy and get some condoms. You should try to go to the bathroom. I'm like, are we really talking about taking a shit before anal? Are we really doing this right now? This is what I'm reading in my sexy time book.
I mean,
take a shit and take a shower? I don't want to see this. Give me back my fantasy.
Shouldn't there be like a whole like enema situation?
Well, that's funny because he said that. He said that he's like, an enema right now would not. I forget what his explanation for the enema just being like too intrusive right now. So you just pass what you can naturally, and I will be back. I'm like, this is disgusting. I don't want this in my smut.
Oh.
This is. And also, sir, again, weren't you married to a woman? How much research did you do in the time between realizing you might be bi or pansexual?
Well, maybe he was having anal with his woman, because. Yeah.
You know what? You know what? Maybe. Yeah. Maybe. Because he said he didn't give much thought to it. And I can see her probably being into that. Plus, one of the series that I did read and finish and actually enjoy was called Ladies on Top. That was such a cute, kinky story about just like adults who were just exploring different sexual dynamics and not judging each other. What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at Mike's commentary in our private chat.
Oh, what did he say? Hold on.
He said, just walked in. Wow.
Oh my god, Ladies on Top is so cute.
I think he was talking about the butt stuff.
Which butt stuff? The butt stuff with the dude in the enema, or
I don't know which one he walked in on. Anyway, back to Ladies on Top.
Ladies on Top is great because old girl, she likes to be on top. Like, not necessarily like penetratively, but she likes to be dominant. And again, Japanese society, women's supposed to be docile, all that. But she's
even
like,
in bed,
she's immediately turned off by dudes who try to be like overly domineering. So she ends up dating another dude who's like really polite and he's not like overly machismo or nothing like that. That's what Mike said. And she learns that he also doesn't mind being like a little like subservient at times, but not necessarily wanting to explore anal, though he did like Google it one time with a girlfriend, and that girlfriend blew up and it was like, oh, you're into that stuff? So he got like really subconscious about it. But he was able to talk about it with his new girlfriend, who was like, I wasn't even thinking that, but I mean, if you want to try it, we can try it. So it was really cute to see that open communication of exploring sexuality and dynamics and stuff like that without it being like too graphic either. Like, they had sex, but it was like respectful. It was very cute. Their relationship in general made, when they did finally explore certain aspects of sex, more fun and funny. It was really cute. Highly recommended. Do not recommend Stigmata Love Bites. Like, it was just, I didn't care for the art design. Like, the art design leaned too close to like real bodies. Where I'm like, no, these dicks are ugly. Like, ew, these dicks are so ugly. They were so ugly. And I showed it to my friend. She's like, no, that's what dicks look like. I'm like, okay, but this is ugly. I don't want to look at this. in my fantasy smut. So long story short, I will be returning that book to Barnes and Noble for another book in the other half of that series. I will be selling at some point, but yeah, I was very disappointed. I still have a stack of books to get through. But it's so disappointing when like the smut is not good. Like I don't know how some of y'all don't crash out when the sex isn't good. I about threw this book across the room. I'm like, this was not fun. This was not sexy. I want my money back. Let me have lackluster sex. I'm kicking that nigga out my bed immediately. Get the fuck out my house. Get out. Do not pass. Go and collect $200. Get the fuck out my house. I don't want to look at you right now.
That's mean.
It is. And again, why I'm single. Because who the fuck am I to judge anyone's vitality in the bedroom as a 33-year-old virgin? What the fuck do I know?
That's all right. That's all right. Sometimes things aren't what we expected them to be, and we crash out. My earliest memory of this is going down to Mississippi. I think I told you this story, and learning that cows don't say moo.
They don't?
They don't.
All the videos I've seen of cows, they sound like they saying moo.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I expected it to say moo like how my said moo, because like I thought I knew everything because I knew my animal sounds. Like cows are supposed to say moo, and we went out to the pasture and I heard what the cows sound like. And I said, no, I am not getting out of the car. I don't want.
That's not a cow. It's not a cow.
I believe that it was a cow, but I also believe like I just felt like everything's a lie, and like I cried. I refused to get out of the back seat of the car, and I was very afraid of my father at the time, and he's yelling at me to get out because we're in Mississippi and it's 90-something degrees outside. He was like, "You were gonna burn up in that car," and I was like, "I'm scared."
The cows. Oh my god! Because the cows don't move, but they do though. They just don't.
No, they do not say moo. They say moo. It's like some like
pitch.
deep guttural sound because they have multiple stomachs, and
oh my god,
they do not say like M-O-O-O-O-O. They do not.
Oh girl. Okay. To be fair, I don't know the last time I've been in the presence of like an actual live cow. I think it was back when I was in kindergarten. Like, but it's an ooh. It's still the ooh sound.
At me, he was saying, "You eat them every time you eat a burger," and I was like, "So now they have a reason to be mad at me." They are way bigger than I expected them to be. They do not say moo. And you and mom were out there with a gun because he was teaching her how to shoot. I said, no, I'm not getting out the car. And it was
how old were you?
I was 5, and it was like the first time that I ever like had to tell my dad, like, I don't care if I get a whooping, like I'm not getting out of this car.
Oh my god!
And it was all because something that an experience that I expected it to be one way was a little different.
Yeah, well, have you come to grips with how cows sound?
Have you heard fucking pigs?
No, I don't think I've heard a pig.
Watch Misery. It's got a pig in it because that's what made my brother like be ultra disturbed. And I was like, oh, you did not know? See, cows don't say moo. Pigs don't say oink oink. I don't know why we are lying to children.
I know they don't say oink oink. I know they make more like grunting, squealing type sounds.
One was on TV. Trevor said, "What the hell is that? That sounds like a demon straight from hell." And I said, "No, that's a pig." We've been lying to children and ourselves and everyone else for a very long time, talking about the pigs say oink oink. No, they don't. No,
you know who actually does a pretty decent portrayal of pigs? Peppa Pig.
Oh boy.
Between their talking in British English, they do be making like the little squealing, grunting sounds. They do be sounding like actual pigs.
Oh, we don't like that. We don't.
Well, when you the
Mm-mm.
one saying don't lie
Well,
to the children.
I didn't say don't lie to the children. I just said like acknowledge that you've been lying to the children and prepare them properly before you take them out to a fucking farm and they discover the truth.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I still don't. I mean, outside of the cows being bigger and your parents having guns, I can understand that crash out. But
You're
again, the
giving
sound
you've
of a
given my
cow.
ultra volatile mom a gun on top of everything else that is going on with the cows.
Yes. I feel like
I'm not getting out. I'm not getting out. I'm not getting out the car. I
feel
don't
like
care if it's 100
out
degrees.
of
I'd rather die in here than out there with the cows and mama having a gun.
I just feel like out of everything else listed, the sound of the cow is the least of my concern. I feel like that's probably the most. Yeah.
And cows don't say moo is now like a model that is in my head of
You know what?
every time I expect an experience to be one way and then I go do the thing and it's like it's different. It's not what I expected and then I just
Cows don't say moo.
cows don't say
Like every
moo.
time it's not what you experience, it's like cows don't say moo.
That's the exact thought going through my head. Cows. Okay. Now I
Cows don't
remember
say
cows
moo.
don't say moo. Cows don't say moo. Cows don't say
That needs to
moo.
be the title of your biography. Cows don't say moo. Dealing with disappointment and expectations and managing expectations.
Expect nothing, and then you might be okay.
Look, I'm trying. I'm gonna start saying cows don't say moo when things don't meet my expectations. Cows don't say moo.
Cows don't say moo. That is going to be the title of my book. Cows don't say moo and other disappointments.
Cows don't say moo. Oh God, so funny.
And then
But
I
yeah.
found out that when you learn a different language, they
Mhm.
tell you different animal sounds.
What?
Yeah.
Well, look, I already
Yeah.
know I
Yeah.
already know the language that they be teaching us in school is not the actual language you should be speaking on the streets. That already pissed me off. I'm taking like 4 semesters of fucking Spanish, and you're telling me don't try to speak this on actual streets. They will laugh at you. Like I'm already an American. I don't need no other targets on my back going into other countries. And you got me sounding like a fucking gringo. Y'all just setting me up.
Yeah, I guess you know how they say like the rooster says cock-a-doodle doo.
Mm-hmm.
I guess in Spanish he says kiki.
I mean, to be fair, I don't know if I've heard a rooster in
I have,
Mexico.
and let me tell you another lie. They say that the rooster like wakes you up in the morning. How about the rooster be talking that shit all fucking day?
Oh yeah, I've heard about that. Roosters just be loud all fucking day, middle of the
All day.
afternoon.
All night. He trying to get some chicken interested in him.
There is no, it's not like, oh, I'm just gonna crow this one time in the morning and that's the last you're gonna hear of me. No, it's gonna be like on the hour. If that, it's just whenever the fuck they feel like it. Lies. This country's just built on lies.
And we start very early with the lies. And lies for no reason.
Lying for no reason.
Lying for no reason.
Why are you lying about this?
Easily discoverable lies.
Why are you lying about this white man breaking into my house to leave me gifts if I'm good? Why are you lying about that? Why not just tell me as my parent, hey, if you good, I'll get you what you want for Christmas. You won't know what exactly I got you for Christmas until you unwrap it on Christmas Day, but know that I'm watching you, and that is going to determine what and how much you get for Christmas. I'd rather know that my parents are doing it than some random white man breaking into my house and eating my cookies and not even eating all the cookies, leaving one cookie bit and half the milk drank. I'm just saying. But then your parents put the oldest on you to not tell your younger siblings or your younger nieces and nephews that Santa isn't real. And the lie would be so easy to break through because you'd be like, okay, if he comes down the chimney, how does he get in our house? We don't have a chimney.
He gonna come through the front door.
How you gonna come to the front door?
Your mom is gonna leave it unlocked.
What about when we not home for Christmas? How am I gonna get my gifts? What if we're in a hotel room?
He magic, girl.
Right. That is all they say. But those are the questions. Those are the questions I ask, you know. And I remember, you know, waking up early in the morning on Christmas and showing my mom the gifts I got, running back to her room, showing her, wondering, why aren't you up? Come on. The gifts are under the tree. Get up. It's 7 in the morning. What are you doing? Unbeknownst to me, she probably just went to bed at 4 in the morning, wrapping gifts.
I guess I get it. I guess I get it. We give children easily discoverable lies because we gonna continue to lie to them throughout the rest of their lives. We gonna tell them
we lying about this one thing.
We
so that you don't know about the bigger lie.
Well, no, we're telling you little lies which are easily discoverable. It's just kind of like, I'm going to teach you how to fight, but first I'm going to see if you can fight your way out of this wet paper bag. So like you're going to have to first figure out that this is a lie. And then you're going to have to realize that I'm going to continue to lie. I'm going to tell you that like Santa Claus is real. And I'm also going to tell you that weed is the gateway to heroin, and if you smoke weed, you're gonna absolutely get addicted, and you're gonna be like a crackhead for life now because you smoked a little bit of weed. It's a lie, but like, remember when cows didn't say moo?
Nah. It's just to placate us from the bigger lies at hand. I can't help but think of this. So there was this one episode in the show. Show called
Trump keep talking about how he got shot in the face because of his ear or whatever, right?
This nigga.
How come that ear looks fine? Like
plastic surgery.
Not even a scratch on it. That's plastic not the lie he told though. Makeup. He said that the ear grew back. And that it was a mirror.
Nigga, ears don't grow back. Oh my god. I'm so glad I did not hear that. I'm so glad I did not hear that bullshit. What is he, a fucking lizard? He one of them lizard people they be talking about?
You were never shot. But other people did get shot.
Which is so sad.
I
that is a damn shame.
It is very disturbing to me that nobody's asking these questions.
And like, nobody is nobody
like,
they dropped that story so quick too. Like,
yeah,
really? We don't want to question the fact that it was like,
because actual people are dead. I do believe that, but I like what happened to his ear.
It's gonna get some nerves.
Like what didn't happen to his ear?
Because there's
he bend down behind the podium and then they sprayed some fake blood,
and then
on his ear.
And everything is recorded. Everything is documented. There's receipts for everything. This isn't like the early 90s where it's like you couldn't really get anyone on a gotcha moment. Everybody's got their cell phone out. Everybody stay on Twitter. We got the Wayback Machine. Like, the receipts are right there.
Yeah.
You can't spit on my head and tell me it's raining. I recorded you spitting on my head.
That cows say moo and then take me out to a farm and let me hear that they don't.
God. Cows don't say moo.
They do not even have the proper lips and facial structure to make a ooh sound.
You right. It is a very guttural kind of sound.
Yeah. And you know what? Maybe also I'm a bit sizes because I don't want to be out there with something that big and stupid. It sounds stupid.
I mean, it's called cow tipping for a reason.
I don't want to be trampled because I'm small and you big and you stupid.
I mean, you ain't gotta have much thoughts when you just out in the field grazing and getting your titties milked. Like, what else do you need? How many brain cells do you need for that? Grass tastes good. I don't say moo, and I get my titties milked. Like, it sounds like a good life to me. Anyway.
All right, I've got to get going.
I've been Ash.
And I've been Fatima.
And cows don't say moo.
They sure don't.
Bye.
Goodbye.